Greetings my friends and welcome to No Nonsense Metal Reviews. I'm George and today I have another instalment of Live Killers for you. Another live album recommendation that it might not be the first choice, or it might not be the most successful live album in respect of a band's catalogue, but it's certainly a worthwhile show and certainly an enjoyable listening experience. Today's recommendation, a live killer, comes from the biggest, or one of the biggest, bands in the heavy metal world. I'm talking about the legendary metal gods Iron Maiden, with their 2001 performance at the Rock In Rio festival in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, released in 2002. This is an absolutely stunning performance. I absolutely love this live album. Iron Maiden have probably more live albums than any other band, whether it's Live After Death, Live at Donington, Maiden England, En Vivo, Book of Souls, Live Chapter. There's countless more. They have so many live albums, it's crazy. But this one, Rock in Rio, is probably my personal favourite. And I know that's quite a bold statement considering how amazing Live After Death is, but I find myself listening to this album, Rock in Rio, more regularly these days than I do Live After Death. I'll probably listen to this one a couple of times a year, perhaps, and that probably doesn't sound like very much or very often at all, but when you consider how much music I have, or how much music there is out there, all these new discoveries, new albums, old favourites, there's so much to listen to. But this is a stunning show. This was, of course, after the reunion of Bruce Dickinson with the band, and also we had Adrian Smith back into the fold. So we had quite a complete lineup there. We have three guitarists in Dave Murray. We have Adrian Smith back in the band. We also still had Mr. Yannick Gears. Then we've got Nico McBrien on drums, Steve Harris on bass, and the mighty Bruce Dickinson back on the mic. Superb performance, as I say. And this was, of course, touring the comeback album, Brave New World, which is still to this day one of my favourite Iron Maiden albums. I absolutely love that album. It's so different to everything that they had done before. It sounded totally different to all of the other Bruce Dickinson era albums. It also sounded totally different to The X Factor and Virtual 11 with Blaze Bayley, who filled in for Bruce on a couple of albums, which I'm just not a fan of, either of those. But that album, Brave New World, is an absolute masterpiece. I absolutely love it. This is quite a long show. We've got 19 tracks. 19 tracks, quite a long, especially when Iron Maiden, they don't play, well, certainly not at that point, they didn't play that many short tracks. But what we get here is a really great mix of the excellent material from Brave New World, and we also get a whole host of classics thrown in there as well. The first, following the intro, that is, the first real track we get there is The Wicker Man, leading into the beautiful, absolutely chillingly, mesmerizingly beautiful Ghost of the Navigator, and then into the absolutely equally as brilliant and mesmerizing Brave New World, the title track. That 3-track succession there, with that heavy metal ripping speed piece, The Wicker Man, it's just absolutely love those riffs. It's not a blindingly fast song or anything like that, but it's got great texture there, it's got great sound, it's brilliant, absolutely love it. Ghost of the Navigator is probably my favourite track from Brave New World. Love that, it's such a beautiful piece, it's so uplifting, it's such memorable hooky material. And of course Brave New World is an absolute hair standing on end track, sounds beautiful. Then we get some classics. We get Wrathchild from the classic Killers album, a brilliant spiky NWOBHM track that, absolutely love it. Then we've got the heavy metal classic 2 Minutes to Midnight from Power Slave, absolutely stunning track there. the whole way through this album, I should point out, the sound quality is amazing. Bruce sounds fantastic. The whole band sounds cohesive and tight, brilliantly well produced, and these guys are expert musicians. Absolutely fantastic. Then we get Blood Brothers, another very folky, uplifting track from Brave New World, a brilliant track nonetheless. Sign of the Cross. Now, Sign of the Cross is one of those Blaze Bayley era tracks. It's a very dark, it's a very moody song, it's very gothic, but it's a heavy track, no doubt at all. I don't particularly like either of those albums with Blaze Bayley. However, I think that the version we get here with Bruce Dickinson on vocal, absolutely fantastic. It's so chilling, it's so dark and gloomy. It's a brilliant track. It sounds fantastic, absolutely amazing. Then we get another track from Brave New World. We get The Mercenary, a shorter, heavier and faster track, great one nonetheless. Then we've got The Trooper, Peace of Mind, that classic, staple, galloping heavy metal track, one of their biggest and most successful, well-known tracks. Anyway, a true fan favourite. We're back to Brave New World for the hauntingly beautiful Dream of Mirrors, a really chilling track. Love that one. Another Blaze Bayley era track. We've got The Clansman with, of course, Bruce. It just sounds like a whole different entity. It sounds fantastic. Really love that track. Those are probably the two best tracks from both of those albums. Love those. Then we've got The Evil That Men Do, Fear of the Dark, Iron Maiden. So we started to get all the classics dug out there, and they sound fantastic. The crowd is absolutely lapping it up. Those tracks in particular, The Evil That Men Do and Fear of the Dark, those are such fan favourites, such crowd-pleasing tracks. You can hear that they're absolutely just lapping it up, and the delivery is fantastic. Then we go properly old school here with Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, which is probably one of the best heavy metal songs of all time. Sanctuary, and of course, Run to the Hills. So we've got all the classics there for that last part of the show, and it just sounds fantastic. This is one of those live albums where you don't skip a track. You just put it on, you want to grab yourself a pint, put your headphones on, sit down and just enjoy the show. Or put it on nice and loud on the sound system and just jump around like a lunatic. Beer all over your carpet. Perfect stuff. Absolutely love this. This is a true live killer. Iron Maiden are one of my all-time favourite bands, and they're just one of the most popular and rightfully so, one of the biggest metal bands around. And this is why, because they've got the amazing high-quality material to back it up. It's not just a couple of good singles. No, they've got amazing albums and plenty of them. So, Iron Maiden, Rock In Rio from 2001, an absolute live killer. Check it out. Certainly those two Blaze era tracks, Sign of the Cross and The Clansman, these versions we get here live with Bruce are, in my opinion, the definitive versions. Absolutely fantastic. What would be really great is if they could just re-record that album or those two albums with Bruce and the full 3 guitarist lineup. It would be great. I'm sure that someone somewhere must have considered that possibility up in their management or the financial circles. That's got to be something, a possibility. But until such days, or if that never does come to fruition, these versions, brilliant. Those classic tracks like 2 Minutes to Midnight, Wrathchild, Hallowed Be Thy Name, Sanctuary, they sound fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And also all of the Brave New World material as well sounds absolutely impeccable. Absolutely love it. So check it out if you haven't, Rock In Rio. What are your thoughts on this album? Are you a fan? Have you heard this one? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know. I'm very interested to know. But thanks again for watching, my friends. Do check back soon for more reviews and recommendations. Feel free to like and subscribe. And as always, stay heavy.